Hello, it is me, your girl, Shy. And so you've been hearing me talk about it, you've been hearing me post about it. So I'm going to share a little bit more about what is Life Skills 101. What is she talking about? I'm talking about things that we experience in life. However, without the proper tools, without having the knowledge, without having an understanding of certain things, we get stuck in we get stuck by having poor habits. We get stuck in cycles, and oftentimes we don't even realize like we're in a cycle. We don't realize the type of damage or harm or hurt we're doing to ourselves and possibly those around us. So Life Skills 101 is a free, I say it again, a free virtual training where I'm just going to break down some principles. It's not all deep, but you will get some great understanding to a lot of things. If you know me in my teaching, I like to set the foundation, right? You can have the prettiest and best looking whatever, but if your foundation is shot, that very thing on top of it is going to fall apart. So with Life Skills 101, I'm going to share some other things that I'm going to be talking about. So I just want to summarize. So I'm going to actually read what I have here in the materials. So when I say to register, it's to get the materials, right? So Life Skill 101. Creating new habits are a way of life. Depending on the area you're applying the habit to, this may be easy or challenging. So we know life happens. It's going to move on without you, right? It's going to move on without you. So just for us to get that understanding, that advice, that eye opener, that aha moment, where we're able to like move forward and become better people, more effective people, right? So that's what Life Skills is going to talk about. The first part that I'm going to be discussing is called Free Yourself. Here's my thought around it. This has been my experience. You can learn something new. You can be exposed to something grand, something new. You can be a part of the in thing. You can be all of that, right? But if you as an individual feel like you're stuck in bondage, you feel like, you take one step forward, 4 steps back. If you as an individual are stuck in areas that you're trying to figure out, why can I get past this hurdle? Why can I jump over it? And then when I do jump over, I get tripped up. So then I got to come back. You as an individual, it's great to be a part of a group. That's a-okay. But what happens when you start to separate people and things? You're left with yourself. So if your things are not in line and in place, you're bound to fumble something. And the reason I say just fumble something, because it doesn't mean life is over. It doesn't mean, oh my gosh, like this happened and that's just it. No, fumble, what do? They pick the football back up. So, and talking about freeing yourself, it's just some things, some self-check that we have to do to make sure that all this goodness that we want and we want to call forth, that we want to manifest, when it comes and when it shows up, are we ready? Are we going to be ready for what we're asking for? So I talk about in the Free Yourself section about setting that foundation and what that look like and what that may feel like. And guess what? It's not just black and white and what's on paper. I'm just giving you some tools and some steps to be able to open up what needs to be open to get you from that unstuck place, that unproductive place, that fearful place. So that's part of Life Skills 101. Like, it's just life. How do I deal? Right? This I will talk about because it was an eye opener for me. Of course, we are all shaped and molded by our upbringing. I don't care how much you want to acknowledge it, believe it or not. We are all shaped by our upbringing, whether good, bad, indifferent, whatever that may look like. We are all shaped by our upbringing. As we become more aware of what that is and how that affected us and what kind of trauma we have from that, because we all come from a place of trauma, our trauma just may be different from the person next to you. So, based on all of that, once you become aware, once you have knowledge, once you say, hey, this, now that I'm older, this don't look right, or yeah, you really shouldn't have treated me like that, or, you know, the demands you put on me, that, like, I would have never met that, you know, but now you have this thing that you're a failure because you were not able to succeed in something. However, the thing that you were given to succeed in was above you anyway. So no matter what you did, but you wouldn't know that because, hey, you're trusting the person that's giving you that thing or that information or that responsibility. So going back to one of the things I want to talk about, in my family, I noticed that you couldn't, like, I mean, I always did. I mean, I'm going to call people out. If it's not right, it's not right. Where did I get that from? It was just in my being. I learned to stand up for myself as a child. Like, you're not about to play me like that. I don't care what cost. Like, you could not buy me. You could not bribe me. Right was right. Wrong was wrong. There was like no gray area. So I'm sitting in counseling one day. It's great to get counsel. Like, don't think you're above that. And I was talking about something, and the counselor goes, hey, where do you think that comes from, in a sense of me dumbing myself down, like not shining too bright, not, and I'm like, you know, and I had to think back. Well, in my household with me, because, you know, you can have siblings and you all grow up with a different experience. That's just life, because we're all different. So we get parented different, we get disciplined different, all of that, differently, all of that. So for me, my experience was, that's already been done. You cannot do that. And if you try to do that, instead of it being encouraged, like, dang, I have, you know, multiple talented kids in the same area, it was brought on like as a competition. Oh, you're just trying to do this because they're doing it, or we're not able to afford both of you guys doing it. It was in that light. So for me, what I learned was, let me pull back, because all this goodness that I feel inside and what I can do and what I am capable of, that's too much. So let me bring that down. Like, let me put out a good idea and let me work the whole thing and manifest it. Like, it's something tangible now, but let me sit in the background because I don't want to get all the accolades. I don't want people saying, oh, who she thinks she is, etc., etc. So he's like, where'd you get that from? And I called it, for years, it was just, oh, I'm just being humble. I'm just being humble. And in that counseling session, it was a wake-up moment. Like, no, you're not being humble. You're dumbing yourself down. And who told you that you have to dumb yourself down? And it went back to my upbringing. And so another thing that I noticed, like, even when you did address somebody and you could be flat out 100% right, you were going to get pushback. The response was going to be defensive. It wasn't no even coming back after that to say, you know what, I apologize how I reacted. What you said was right. I just wasn't ready to accept it. Oh no, it was none of that, right? And so I started noticing that a lot of people's responses and behavior was anger. And I'm like, how is it that 5 different things can happen, but the emotion that comes with those 5 different things is always anger? Then it was like, is it really anger? Like, anger is your go-to, but what is your real feeling? Like, are you hurt? Are you disappointed? Do you feel manipulated? Do you feel shame for that thing? Do you feel rejected? What is that? So even going below that to be able to identify how do I really feel? And a lot of us, depending on the generation you were brought up in, it was not okay to express how you feel. So now we're walking around as adults and we have to figure this stuff out because we now have kids. And what kids do is trigger the very part of you that we have not dealt with, or the very part of you that no one has challenged you with, or the very part of you that you only go back and forth with yourself. Kids are teachers. Kids are teachers. And so we revert back to what we know. Don't ask me that. Don't talk to me about that. Stay in a child's place. But did they just tell you anything wrong, but you don't want to answer it, or you don't want to be accountable for that because now you got to sit back and review yourself, the individual person. So again, this is life skills 101, the various different things that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be getting down to, because again, if you know me and my teachings, I'll always say you can have the best of the best, the greatest of the greatest, have the best intention, have the best goals. But if your foundation is shot, if you don't even have a foundation, if you don't even know where to start and how to start, like what are you building this on top? What are you building this on top of? And why are you even building it? Like, so although it may seem like, well, that's common sense. Common sense is free, but everybody don't have it. Let me just say that. So to be in a place where you acknowledge, like, I acknowledge, like, hey, I need some help in this area. Hey, I really need to understand, like, what are the depths and the levels of healing? What is when we say like we're setting goals, what's a goal? Like, did you really write down the goal? Like if you say, okay, in 2020, you know, everybody come up there, New Year's resolutions and all that. Excuse me. In 2020, your goal is to, it's not a goal that I put out there. It's just something that I started working on last year. To get healthy, right? So I've shared before, 2019, I experienced a lot of health challenges. So I literally barely have the energy to go to work and just be. So I had to do what I was able to do in that season for what I want to accomplish just in general. And so what I mean by that is getting back on my health kick. Okay, well, everything starts in the mind. So I'm really not eating, and not eating the best, not eating, and how do I want to get healthy if it takes food to do that? So what's going on in my mind? Why is there a disconnect? What's going on there? So I'm a night owl. I do a lot of stuff late at night. So late at night, that's my morning. So 9-10 o'clock, I'm grinding, making videos, creating content, posting, creating workshops. Just I'm doing that. So I'm up. I'm burning. Oh, let me go get some chips. Let me get some donuts. You know what I mean? And this is all between the hours of like 10 and 3, 10 at night and 3 in the morning. So I had to tell myself, hey girl, you're going to need to slow down because you eating all this stuff and just going to sleep. So it's great that I have a goal that I wanted and I did it before, so I know I could do it again, but you need to change up some things. So at work, why do you have a drawer full of snacks? Not even healthy snacks, just snacks. So for me, I had to work that out. So then I cut off the snacks at night. Then it went from just completely stopping the snacks. And then when I did get those cravings, when I did have my long nights, let's implement some good stuff. Let's get some fruit in there. Let's get some nuts. You know what I mean? Start consuming more water, which helped a great deal. Look at the skin. But I'm just saying I had to figure it out if I want the ultimate goal, right? So that's the same thing with whatever goal you may have. Like, it's great to have goals, but how are you going to achieve that goal? And you don't necessarily have to wait for something to happen. You start making it happen. So life skills 101. That's what we're going to be talking about. That's what I'm going to be giving you tools and tips and informations. And guess what? Just like I'm doing trainings, I get trainings. I get trainings. Like, we all need somebody above us, somebody that's already in the place that we desire to be. Like, we all need that. To act like you could do it on your own would be foolish. But yeah, like, I'm in school. Through the type of work that I do, we have trainings. I get great word at the house I sit under for church. And I learn and look through, and so there's always something to be learned before you even want to teach. I'm not teaching you something I haven't experienced. I'm not doing that. How do I do that? Now I can mention it and I can bring somebody in. But so Life Skills 101. Join me. Tag a friend, tell a friend. For more information, you could click on the links below this this video. And this is your girl Shy. And I'll be seeing you soon.